They usually say that the pasture is always greener on the other side. It can be no truer this season than at Wimbledon. We move to the All England club, swapping the red of the clay courts of Paris for the green grass of London. Hello guys, welcome to Sports Bicycles. Glad to be in your company always. It's Wale and Radic. Wimbledon starts as from tomorrow, July 3rd.
Yes, Wimbledon starts, and the way it is in the men, I think anybody will agree with me that we fancy Djokovic extending his record.
All right.
Winning his 24th Grand Slam. He has already set a new record of 23 Grand Slam. I see that continuing because you look at the caliber of players that are the top seed in this tournament. Look at the top 5, for example. You are looking at Alcaraz in number 2. You are looking at Casper Ruud in 4. Medvedev, the third seed, you know.
I think Olga Rune.
Yeah, you know. Then if you look at maybe Tsitsipas, these are people that can pose a threat. But look at them. Many of them have not even gotten past the first round. Alcaraz best is 4th.
Medvedev is 4th.
4th also. Casper Ruud is second. You know, the only person you can see giving a little bit of competition is not even in the top 10. And we are talking of Kyrgios.
Yeah.
We are talking of Nick Kyrgios. He has gotten to the final once. And you may want to see Djokovic. Okay. So you may want to see him as the only competition right now, because Djokovic is by far the best on clay. Is by far the best on grass in this tournament. You can see it. 7 Grand Slam winner, Wimbledon Grand Slam.
And you know, a lot of things are going on right for Novak Djokovic at this tournament. Like you mentioned, 23 Grand Slams. That's a record. He has 38 Masters titles. That's another record. He's been world number 1 for 389 weeks. That's a record. He's been world number 1 in at least 12 years. That was another record. And then he's been world number 1 at the end of 7 different years. That's another record. He's had 7 Wimbledon titles. If he gets an 8th, he will be tied with Roger Federer for the most Wimbledon titles. If he gets a 24th Grand Slam, he'll be tied with Margaret Court for the most Grand Slam, male or female. You think that he's got enough motivation to just win this year?
He's got enough motivation to just breeze past through any competition in his presence in this tournament. So if you ask me, I'll say this tournament is a one-horse race.
It's Djokovic's title to lose.
It's his title to lose.
Who do you think will give him the toughest?
I just said Kyrgios.
But the way the Kyrgios is, you never know which side of Nick is coming to an event. He may just come in and leave without a whipper, or he may just be up to it and then give it all it takes.
Yes. But I believe there's a lot of motivation for him in this tournament, considering the fact that it's outside the top 10. He's number 33 at the moment.
Okay.
So it's motivation enough for him to want to get into the top 10 using this tournament, and begin to get that relevance that he once had. So I see that as enough motivation for him to give his all in this tournament. Then maybe Alcaraz can decide to give us a little competition also. It's left to be seen.
All right. So one more thing before we leave the men's side of the draws. There's another player you've not mentioned at all, and it's strange because he has actually won the Wimbledon.
Okay.
Andy Murray is also a competition this year.
You talked about it earlier, and I just laughed it off. It's not always easy when you leave a sport like tennis for a while and come back. You've left for more than a year, and you want to come back. It's not always easy because
he has been playing. Maybe he's not at that elite level anymore.
It's not at that elite level. I remember also that Serena left for a while and came back, and it wasn't the same again. So I don't see him doing anything special in this tournament.
First round, second round,
maybe fourth round.
Fourth round. If indeed Murray gets the fourth round,
it's an achievement.
It will be one.
It's an achievement.
10 years ago, Andy Murray won the Wimbledon, the 2013 Wimbledon. At that point, a lot of people said perhaps we should transit from the big 3 and start speaking about the big four.
Of course.
Well, it didn't last for long. You know, a lot of injuries.
Yes, a lot of injuries.
Not his dedication to the sport, but I think his body just gave him.
Yes, yes.
So, Andumari, all the best. Hope you really get to go the distance at this year's Wimbledon.
Hopefully.
All right, Radic. Moving on to the women's half of the draws. You would agree with me that you know, you look at the women's game. It's been a lot of inconsistency, musical chairs all the way. Of
course. You'll see at every point in time when they bring out the ATP rankings, you see that there's always a change of say maybe 4 or 5. You see those ones you see in the top 10 in the last ranking, the next ranking they are out of the top 10, and you have fresh names in the top 10. And I think there have been a little bit of consistency with Swiatek in that regard.
However, Swiatek has it.
Yes, and I think if she's able to win, to me, she should be able to win this Grand Slam. If she's able to win this Grand Slam, she'll be able to extend her record to 5 Grand Slams.
No. You ask yourself, Randy, when was the last time in the women's game anybody won the Grand Slams back to back? You can't remember, you know. And for me the thing is that the winner can come from anywhere.
Yes, that is what you've seen in the past few years. Since Serena has left the court. You know,
it's anybody's game now.
It's anybody's game now, and it never used to be so. So I think Swiatek is the only one that can bring that consistency back and prove to the tennis world that women also can be consistent.
Okay, so for you, Iga Swiatek, 4-time Grand Slam winner, won as recently as the French Open in June.
Yes,
that's your favorite.
She's not my favorite. My favorite will be Rybalenka my favorite will be Rybakina, okay, to defend a title.
But another thing, and a lot of people have also called attention to this, for Rybakina, since she withdrew from the French Open, viral infection, she's not really been up to it anymore. People are in a doubt as to how ready she is for the Wimbledon.
You know, sometimes these players don't really give their all in the ATPs, you know, but when they get to the Grand Slam, you see them, they are different animal entirely. Okay. So I feel she can still retain that title. Then another person I'll put in that mix is Sabalenka.
All right. Sabalenka is seated number 2.
She's seated number 2, and she was in the semi-finals in 2021.
Okay.
She got to the semi-finals. So I see her as a very strong competition also. So it's going to be Rybakina, Sabalenka, Swiatek.
Okay. Can you one more name?
Maybe Ons Jabeur. Yes, because I feel she has an unfinished business in Wimbledon. She was defeated by Rybakina in the last Wimbledon in the final. So I feel she still has a bone to pick with Rybakina, and she also has a lot to prove to the African continent in this year's Wimbledon.
All right. So we are Africans. We are rooting for an African. So Radic's support for Jabeur is understandable, knowing that she's Tunisian. But you know, I'm looking at other names. Victoria Azarenka is in the draws.
Yes.
Petra Kvitova is in the draws.
Yes.
So you know, you don't fancy them.
I don't fancy Azarenka.
Okay.
I think he's getting old. But
Kvitova is 33 years.
Same thing with her also.
Okay.
You can't compare them with the Serenas. You can't compare them. I think the rest, as they age, they become weaker.
Oh.
It was different with Serena Williams.
Indeed, it was. And then, you know, Naomi Osaka is since Serena, she's been my favorite. But
that was
for the whole of this year, she will be on maternity leave.
That was the person that was trying to make the women's game consistent. She also won the 4 Grand Slam, you know, in a very short period of time. So she was supposed to bring consistency into tennis. Imagine if you had Osaka and you had Swiatek. You know, you have 2 players who are consistent, who have 8 Grand Slams in between them. You know, if you had them, you can dream of say 14, 15 in the next few years between both of them. So it shows a little bit of consistency, even if the rest are not that consistent.
All right, Naomi Osaka already has said that she'll be back in 2023, the Australian Open.
Hopefully.
We hope like
she doesn't play the same route as Serena Williams.
Like she will come back and continue to be at the very top. Thank you so much. You look at the draws. Can we just look at the draws for the men, for the women, the top seeds?
Yeah, the top seed, it's Swiatek, Sabalenka, Rybakina, Pegula.
No, Jessica Pegula is 5.
Yeah,
Garcia, Caroline
Garcia. Right. So those are the 5. I want to concentrate on the 5.
On the 5, okay. For the men, it's Novak Djokovic at number 1. Alcaraz is 2nd. Then Medvedev is 3rd. Kasper Ruud
is 4th.
Roland Garros finalist is 4th. Stefano Tsitsipas is Greek is 5th. Holger Rune is Swiss is 6th. Andrei Rublev is 7th. Taylor Fritz, the American, is 8th. Yannick Sinner, the Italian, is 9th. And finally, the 10th seed is Karen Khachanov.
But the problem is they don't do well in the Grand Slams.
But you look at them. There's been some consistency to many of them. Karen Khachanov was in the semi-final at the French Open. We mentioned Carlos Alcaraz won last year US Open. Was beaten semi-finalist. So Karen was in quarter-finalist, beaten by Novak Djokovic before he beat Carlos Alcaraz. So you look at them. Daniil Medvedev won the 2021 US Open. So really, either here or there, they have got some titles under their belts.
But in the end, you've got about just 2 of them. Aside from Djokovic and Nadal, you've got about just 2 of them with a Grand Slam.
In the top 10, yes. Hopefully they get the better of Novak this
I don't see them getting the better of him, and I don't even want them to get the better of him.
So you want Novak?
Let him just continue setting those records. I know it's your favorite player, though.
Of course, Novak is my tennis boot.
But it's Federer forever. Roger Federer forever.
In the other news, women can wear colored undershorts.
Yes.
In this year's Wimbledon. So Wimbledon for the first time will buck the tradition. It's an all-white affair, but for women, there's going to be an exception.
Well, let me not say I don't really see much of the relevance in that. but it's in the other news.
No, but the thing is this. Some of them have complained that it's a 3-week event. They get into their periods. They want to be comfortable playing. And an all-white gi can make you feel, am I not, stained? So it's a concern. And now the association has looked into it, and then women can wear colored undershorts.
Is it even advisable to play during your period?
Well, these are super athletes, elite athletes. They can play with the pain, and still give them a good game.
Well, anyways, I think that's
something to also talk about. And then finally, as we close this again, in the Grand Slams, it's equal pay for men and women.
Yeah.
We hope football eventually takes a cue from that.
When they begin to make as much money as the men.
When they begin to make
because in lawn tennis, they play it as a whole tournament together. But in football, the female tournament is different from the male tournament. So generation of income is totally different.
So you don't see pay parity in football anytime soon?
I don't see it in football anytime soon.
It's not football. Today it's lawn tennis. Thank you for your time. We've had a very, very interesting conversation. We hope you also enjoyed it. What do you think? Always leave your comments. Let's get your feedback. Your feedback can only make us get better.
And please don't forget to like and subscribe. We need it. We need you to be part of the community.
Thank you so much. We'll see you very soon.